I'm Tim Wilson from Folk Architects, an architectural practice based in Melbourne and northern New South Wales. We work on projects of varying scales and complexity, including commercial, civic, residential, urban renewal, as well as regenerative design. As a practice, we approach all our projects with the same questions. How can architecture and design contribute to and improve people's daily lives? How can we design for everybody and create inclusive spaces that engage with the community? This is in part informed by my personal experience with my daughter Alfie. So Alfie is a wheelchair user, she is non-verbal, and her medical conditions include level 5 cerebral palsy, epilepsy, and cortical vision impairment, or CVI. But Alfie is far more than just a diagnosis. She is also a cheeky and determined little girl who has taught us as architects and designers many things. First and foremost, she doesn't need fixing. But as a society, we can do far more to accommodate the diverse needs of people living with disability. As a family, we often find that Alfie's disability is most noticeable not when we are at home, but when we are out and about. We see that the barriers to inclusion exist everywhere and there is much room for improvement. Outings with Alfie require lots of forward thinking and planning. This map of accessible change room facilities in and around Melbourne is a great example of this. We will refer to this map when we're planning our day. So whether or not a building or an area has an accessible change facility, for us can mean the difference between whether or not we venture out for a few hours or for the full day. As architects, this has expanded our thinking and led us to view the built environment through a new lens, to see the opportunities for improvement, and to understand that good design celebrates the diversity of each and every one of us. If we have an intention to create spaces that accommodate the needs of as many people as possible, we must first recognise that disability is just part of the human condition. It's a fact of life. Statistics tell us that 1 in 5 people in Australia, that's 5.5 million people, live with at least one form of disability. And disability is a diverse term. It can include physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments. Disabilities can be visible or invisible. We should also recognise that equal access is a basic human right, as reflected in the Australian Human Rights Commission. Therefore, we believe as architects we have both a social and a moral obligation to design for everyone. We recently completed a design project to build an inclusive bathroom and parenting facility known as a Changing Places at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. So for those of you that don't know, Changing Places facilities are larger than standard accessible toilets, and they provide safe and dignified amenities for people in our community with high support needs, particularly physical support needs. At the beginning of the project, we asked ourselves, what makes for a good Changing Places facility experience? Before we put pen to paper, we ran a series of workshops and distributed questionnaires to people with lived experience, as well as therapists and support workers. A common response was for the spaces to feel warm and inviting, not clinical. People with disabilities often spend enough time in hospital settings as it is. We ourselves as a family know a lot about that. The user feedback on this project has been very positive, and it's an example of how bringing people with lived experience into the project from the outset creates a sense of ownership that can be a powerful creative force for good design. As part of Melbourne Design Week, Folk with the Public Record Office hosted an event on the importance of universal design and its role in shaping a more equitable society. The Beyond Barriers discussion and exhibition provided an historical overview of disability rights activism in Australia, emphasising its transformative impact on urban spaces and policies. We explored strategies to expand the conversation beyond compliance to foster truly inclusive innovation. We introduced the topic with the following quote, which we think encapsulates everything. Diversity is a fact of life. Equity is a choice that we choose to make. Inclusion is an action that we choose to take, and belonging is the outcome of that action. It was an opportunity to expand the key aspects of our thinking as a design practice. We also saw it as an opportunity to demonstrate that inclusive design should not only be a technical or legal obligation, but also a moral obligation. We saw this as being particularly relevant to decision makers at government level. In many ways, the benefits of inclusive design, or design that addresses the needs of as many people as possible, is not just about the practical outcomes of providing access. Importantly, it can lead to a shift in people's attitudes by increasing representation and sending a message that everyone, including people with disability, are welcome and included in all aspects of society. We believe that the built environment should not only accommodate but celebrate difference, whether it be people with physical disabilities, neurodivergent people, those with hidden disabilities, not to mention the ageing population. Imagine a world where families like ours don't need to research whether a place is accessible when planning our daily outings, where people have the freedom to move around as they choose and the knowing that they belong.